Hello, welcome back to PlayStation Access. My name's Dave, and I'm joined today by Nath.
Hello.
And Nath, we have been playing Sniper Elite 4.
Oh no, we haven't, Dave.
Oh, the secret's out already, Nath. I thought we had a pact.
No, we were. Let's just be honest right up front. So we went to see it today, and Paul from Rebellion, who is one of the developers on the game, he told us it was the same level, and so we said we'd like to, because we showed a level at E3.
Yeah.
And we said we'd like to show something else. Is there another route? And he looked at us, and he was like, "There is another route. You can go right, but it's hard." And we said, "If it's hard, why don't you do it?" And he said, "Okay then."
Yes, exactly.
And also because we were talking about this today, just the sort of game this is an in-depth game, and we are not completely familiar with it. So we felt this time people who are really into this game, the audience that have come to this video for this game, will probably get more out of it if they saw an expert play.
You're going to want to see the systems. You want to see it all working properly, rather than us, having half an hour with the game and trying to work it out in that space. And
pay attention to what he's just done: a double tap mine and a bit of sabotage.
Yes, I mean, you can see what's going to happen there. There's obviously going to be a poor fellow who's going to run foul of that.
Shenanigans.
But, Paul was keen to point out that isn't scripted. Like his route, those routes, he's going to set up the scenario so that happens.
He said, I'm going to make this happen.
So that he doesn't just know the routes of all the patrolling enemies or anything like that.
And this is him. You can tag, and then there's like a target focus info for when if you wait, and then that kind of yellow line creeps around their tag, and then you get to know a bit more about them.
Yes, which can be useful depending on who you're dealing with.
Could just be interesting.
Anyone, I would imagine, who's had any serious go at Sniper Elite is going to know the importance of tagging people. And Paul, we've cut down this playthrough so we can actually talk through it. He did a lot of tagging. He was like, if I'm going to have any chance in this, I'm going to have to tag all these people. He's looking for snipers, all sorts. You saw there, he could tag explosives as well in a truck.
And it's not just because he wasn't just tagging everything because going right is a bit harder. It's because there was a 30-minute kind of cap on this, and he knew that if he got into any trouble, he'd need to know where everyone was. You
might have seen there that from running, the player's heart rate went up. It's this is an incredibly deep game, and it was stuff like that I was just like,
he was
see layer and layer and layer.
So you can't go straight from a sprint into expecting to have a steady shot.
Exactly, and that's just really cool. So he spotted a truck here coming, set up a little mine, which I really enjoyed.
The way that he was playing around with the almost being discovered meter there gave me chills. Like he was so much more in control of it. So much more confident about it.
What I like about this truck is it explodes a few times. And he says you have to watch out for that. You can't, You
go too close when it's...
There's actually a third explosion when he's running off down here. And I think that's good. It was an ammo truck. So that makes sense. That all kind of makes sense, doesn't it? So I think there's a bit more spotting to be done.
He was also talking about the health kits, which they heal and they stabilise as well this time. Ooh.
So there you go. As if from nowhere, someone has fallen foul of the first trap.
I like that. Like you've just set yourself up little treats that are going to come. You know what I mean? They come good later on.
Sniper Elite was first sort of known for its slow motion kills and stuff, and that is great when sniping. But there's something even more satisfying, I think, about laying a trap, wandering off around the map, and then someone going. Right, so hang on.
This is the spotter.
So the spotter has spotted Paul here.
He's done his job. So Paul was a bit worried at this point. Things had gone wrong.
Meanwhile, the other trap has gone off. You can see it's all going off here.
But this was so exciting. And basically, so that was the guy who'd gone to investigate what happened to the guy who had been blown up by the sabotage machinery. And that trip mine hadn't gone off the first time. That's why you set a double kind of tread mine.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's the second guy that gets caught. And the spotter, we should explain, Dave, is new, right?
Yes, I believe so. And so, most enemies have quite a sort of shallow vision cone, not too far. The spotter, like a sniper, is able to see, I think, 200 meters, something like that.
Right, yeah.
So he isn't armed, but when he sees you, you are spotted. He alerts everyone, and he sort of
ruined
special
this
thing,
gameplay, this playthrough.
He did.
You know what I mean? I still got loads out of it, but he met, like, in terms of the difficulty spike, he messed this up.
Yeah, he did, and he can fire a flare, which then alerts people to where you are, and also artillery. So
off-map artillery hits that spot.
Now we've just seen Paul lay a trap which didn't go off, like the guy walks slightly past it, but then gets the second guy. He got him here with both the mine and the grenade at the same time. It's just so pleasing.
We were talking about how nice the shrapnel slow motion disintegrating bone effect is.
I think it's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, it's incredibly satisfying. It was, what was great was we sat with Paul whilst he was playing Sniper Elite 4, and I just had a really good time. It was like a sort of a good, it was like there's this intense sort of stealth element to it, and setting everything up is something I really enjoy. Really pleasing, marking everyone, and then when it goes wrong, or sometimes went wrong because Paul wanted it to. He wanted to make a diversion or something. There's so many options for how you deal with it. And
it was good seeing someone who is an expert at the game getting out of trouble, because they did it in a way which was so much more assured than I've ever done it. Here he was talking to us about how you can chain your tripwires to give yourself a wider trap.
Yeah, so he set that tripwire, then went back and diffused like one end of it so that he could kind of extend it. So now it's like 2 tripwires chained together basically to give him that extra area of trip.
Of coverage. And this was so down at the bottom of this hill is the kind of the valley that he wants to pass through in order to get to the target, which is that big bridge. And so these are all the people that he knew he would have to try and tag and then take out slowly. That red outline is obviously where these guys think you are.
Oh dear.
And that's the end of that man, thanks to the stretched out trip mine.
That's just so satisfying, isn't it? Setting the traps and then just getting the slow motion replay of that happening.
So I don't know how many times. I don't know if you've edited them out in this version, Dave. But that spotter, it's worth mentioning. He was really we were trying to spot him back. And it was really difficult to pinpoint exactly where he was. So he actually pops up a number of times.
Yeah, so that he was sort of one of the few people that Paul actually missed when he was trying to spot everybody, unfortunately. So he was elusive and did get us a few times. This is just a really, really lovely moment in the game that I just wanted everyone to enjoy. It's shrapnel to his special place there.
Shooting up the hill. He didn't expect that.
So finally, Paul gets into a little bit of sniping, which is the core of the game, I suppose. What everyone's looking forward to. The original. He starts off with a lovely headshot, and that hat coming off.
We've been talking about that hat all day.
I love that. Paul was, I thought, really good at this. Just doing some, I don't know what you call it, not no-scoping, he's using the scope, got an intestine
free
shot there.
Shooting,
and he's adjusted for range there so that he knows he can aim through the crosshairs.
There's a meter, there's a little kind of gauge at the top, isn't there, which helps you to adjust for the distance.
He was waiting for the sound masking there. So I think we've moved ahead a little bit now so that the alert has
that
the alert has
expression
gone.
is just perfect.
So
This was the stealthiest moment of all.
He was trying to. So what he's doing here is he's creating a diversion. So he wants, obviously, where they know where the explosion happened, they know where the dead guys are, but they don't know where it came from.
Right.
So with the grenades here,
so he's setting a point of investigation.
Exactly, setting a point of investigation to sort of distract them from where he's actually going. Although his cover was sadly blown there, so it didn't. Oh no, it wasn't. That's the point. You can see where they think he is down there, and that's where they're firing.
Even you were fooled there.
I was fooled, by the cover blown. And he's got one more trick up his sleeve for, making them believe that he's somewhere he isn't. And that's just shooting the fuel tank on the truck, which is probably one of my favourite things in this whole video.
You get some extra little points as well for blowing stuff up.
Absolutely. So we've moved ahead again, and he's back in the thick of it. Just some nice sniping action, even whilst being actively hunted.
Through the elbow. And into the lung.
And then a couple more sort of free shots. I think we actually see him. He gets a grenade shot in a minute. I love that they've sort of added to the reward for getting things like that with giving them naming them properly.
It's strange, isn't it? Because there's
eye shots, lung shots.
It's a mixture of quite stern stealth gameplay and being spotted, and then arcade rewards.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to sort of get across. It was really, really fun. It was quite tense and the stealth elements, setting it all up, and then it would go wrong, and we'd just have a really good laugh, with
some games
dealing with it.
Some games are just really good to watch, aren't they? Obviously, watching games is more and more of a thing these days. And there's just a hard to appreciate if you only play it on a kind of casual level. There's a really hard to appreciate depth to this.
Yeah, and Paul actually described it as a game that flip-flops from sort of stealth to action, and I think it really does. I think if you're really, really good, you can definitely play this entirely as a stealth game, I'm sure. but maybe if you're not as good, or if you just enjoy, just playing out the scenario, whatever happens, it's got as much there for an action game.
Well, for
that you
me,
can enjoy.
the what I really took away from this was that even good players mess up, and 100% stealth is possible, but not necessarily essential. And that it's how you get yourself out of those loud situations, like this.
Yeah, definitely. That's a particularly horrible replay, isn't it? That or
yeah,
bit of information. A little bit of information.
It was the jiggling inside the skull that really makes that shot.
What I know
like
is
to
that
think
he
about
sort
it.
of says, "Hey," before he puts the knife in. Hey, and just to add insult to injury, Paul's decided to booby trap the body,
Why
which
not?
I think is a little sort of tragic story, all played out
All
there.
on its
Have you
own.
seen Steve? His mate wanders over.
Steve's become a
Steve's
weapon,
fallen
and the
over.
horrible thing, it'll be someone who cares about who comes to look as well.
There he is.
Look, Mike.
Oh, Mike, you
Sorry,
are.
Mike.
I don't think you're
I don't
walking
think
away
there's
from
much,
that.
but someone's got to send a letter to Mrs. Mike.
But Paul's ranked up, so what matters the most.
So we should say that we didn't, because of the 30-minute demo limit that there was on this, because we saw it at a show, and because we made Paul go the hard route. We don't get to the end here, but we get very close. So basically, this bridge just needed some exploding to it, right in the middle, man.
That is a good
right in
shot.
the middle of the
Yeah,
head.
you've got to be pleased with that.
We didn't quite get to the end, but we didn't really mind, because it was all, in the end, Dave, it was all about the journey.
We had genuinely had loads of fun getting there. And if you do want to see how the mission can play out in the other direction, we have got that video that you and I.
If you want to see
did at
two
E3.
sort of hapless men flailing at this game, but actually blowing up the bridge, then go
sort of
ahead and see.
flailing and failing, then that does exist. But yeah, as Nate says, unfortunately there was a half-hour cap on the game, and he didn't quite make it. But I think he had a very good effort. There's still some great action.
He sped up here because this is where he's realised that we're low on time, and he's gone all out.
Bosh.
That was nice.
That's what I mean. There's all kinds of little things like that if you know where they are.
And you can react to them as you're in the game already.
There was a big sort of container of cargo that was hanging off a building, and which could have been shot down earlier, but no one came underneath it to make use of it. I think there's going to be lots of moments in the game that the developers have put in there that
Little
you can
points of interaction.
If you know what you're doing, you can make situations happen to your advantage. I love that he set up all the traps and just on the off chance that they might get used. Last thing to talk about here is just shooting through the wood.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Which this guy on the other side,
He should have thought about that
didn't
after the
realise.
first set of bullets, shouldn't he?
And unfortunately, that's where the game ended for us. But it doesn't have to for you, because you can, like I
Good
said,
link,
go and
Dave.
check out. Thanks very much. Check out how we got on at E3. Hint: we not very well, really, but we did do it. So that was Sniper Elite 4, which I really enjoyed watching Paul play today, and I hope to get to know the mechanics as well as him myself. Please do let us know what you're looking forward to, what you thought looked good in the video, and do subscribe to make sure you stay with us for everything PlayStation.